live from Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport in Texas. This is Runway DFW in color. Now, here is your host, Walt Zwerko.
And good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you might be on this big blue marble. It's Walt here from Runway DFW, DFW International Airport in Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas, on this Friday, August 26th, 2022. And we'll be here for the next, let's see here, about 2 hours and 8, 7, 8, 9, I'm doing some math in my head. About 2 hours and 45 minutes if everything goes right. It doesn't look like we're going to get any rain today, so I think we're good to bring you all the action from Runway DFW. And our satellite truck is up and running today. It's getting some extra illumination from, I don't know where that flashing light is coming from. I hope I'm not being arrested. But thank you for joining us today on this, well, you know, it's pretty pleasant. It's 74 degrees Fahrenheit, which is very comfortable, although it's very muggy because we've had a lot of rain here in the last few days, as you may have heard. And so the ground is pretty moist and everything just feels kind of ooky. But it's all good, and there's no rain right now, so we won't get rained out like we did last time. So thanks very much for being here. There is a plane I didn't think we saw here. I've never seen it before, but apparently I think it's a regular visitor. It's a Delta 767, which travels from Los Angeles, and I just never seen it here. So there it is. I kept saying we don't see any passenger 767s here, but I was wrong, as I occasionally am. So let's say hello to folks online. Luke Mold says, good evening, Walt. Good evening, aviation family, watching live from New Zealand at 11:17 Friday night. If people come to New Zealand on holiday, you will not regret it. New Zealand is great. A message from Luke Molds from the New Zealand Travel Bureau. But I think we would probably, I think New Zealand is always on my list of places I'd like to go someday, so hopefully I'll get there. Raina Taylor says hello to all. Hello to you, Raina. Good to see you. MR Rice says, I just watched Japan Airlines 6714 land about 25 minutes ago. Yeah, I saw that too. I just couldn't get to it because we were still setting up. So, but he adds that there's another Japan Airlines flight landing in a few hours, and we should be here for that. And we also should see at least one, maybe a couple of Queens of the Skies this morning. So we'll keep our eye out for that, along with a tri-jet or two. So we always welcome that. Let's see what else is going on here. There's no planes landing or taking off right now, so we have time to chat. At least not over on this side of the airport. Dwayne C. says hello to Walt and crew. And we do have a crew today, and I should acknowledge that right now before we get too far along. And we're talking, of course, about the Runway DFW Moderation Federation. And these are the names you will see popping up in the chat to help us out. They'll have a wrench by their name, and they'll be able to greet you and guide you. And I hope that you will all be nice to them and say hello to them. Ms. Wolf's 13, Gerard, Bill Platt, Michelle R.S., Charlene Dawkins, SFC Fred Robinson, and A-List Flyer Chris. All of them are charter members of the DFW, Runway DFW Moderation Federation. So I hope you will look out for them, be nice to them, and say thank you to them for hanging out with us on Runway DFW. And there's Gerard saying hello, and Ms. Wolves is online too, so we're so happy to see you guys with us this morning. So we've got some experienced moderators with us this morning, and we should be thankful for them, and I certainly am. Well, let's see what we got going here. Certainly that's not the only thing that we're looking at right now, and we are going to be able to see a plane that is getting ready to take off. So let me get things aligned here. Bear with us. Here before daybreak at the big airport. We occasionally have problems with camera focus during this time of day. So hang in there with us. We're trying a little something new on our main camera, camera 1 today. If it looks a little greenish, it's a feature of this camera I didn't really realize that I had. It's kind of an infrared filter, which I don't really know how much it adds to the presentation, but it looks a little sharper and a little clearer. This is American Airlines flight 1579. So 737-800 headed off to Chicago O'Hare Airport. There's that Delta jet. So I have to say I am keen to, at some point in the not too distant future, obtain a little higher end camera which can do something more with nighttime photography. So as this channel grows and we get some revenue from YouTube, I do intend to put that towards equipment which will help us see a little better at night here. So you're getting a false color there, as you might imagine. We'll switch over to the regular camera view not too long from now, because we'll get sunrise comes in about 1/2 of an hour. Trying to get camera 2 aligned here. We're up to our normal view where we can see the East Tower and we can see planes on the runway and things like that. And there we go. That's kind of the real color we see now, although this camera is not really doing too well in the focusing department at the moment. Brenda Salmi says good morning and happy Friday to all. Dub B has a question. What do you do for work at Runway DFW? I think is the question. Do you work for the airport or an airline or just a fan? I work for neither the airport nor the airline, nor an airline. I actually work for a TV station in Denison, Texas, and I do this because I think it's so much fun to do. When you work with TV news all day long, and it's just so refreshing to come out to see something like this and just be a part of it and to deliver it to all of you. So that's the treat I get. I get kind of pumped up when I get out here, and I know a lot of you feel the same way about aviation, and sometimes you just can't get out there to see it. So here we are. Yeah, MRI saying it's night vision green, and yeah, it won't be very long before I switch on the regular camera, so don't get used to this. So it looks like we've got several moderators on board, so I'm glad you can interact with them. Luke Molds checking in from down under in New Zealand. Hey Walt, it's the night before my rugby grand final tomorrow. Nerves are starting to build and excitement is starting to build up as well. Well, you know that all of us here at the Runway DFW family are behind you, Luke, and we will be cheering you on from afar and wish you all the luck in the world. I got a good feeling about that game. Let's see, Dubbies has another reaction here. He says, trying to get our comments there a little more aligned. He says, that's awesome. My bad. Been awake for work at American Airlines since 9 o'clock yesterday, 9 p.m. yesterday. Love watching the arrivals into DFW, seeing my flights landing. Cool. What do you do, Dub, if you don't mind telling us? We would be interested to know. We do get some airline insiders here, and often when we have a question about what's going on at or around the airport, we get the answers, because somebody knows. So we do have a couple of incoming flights, the first of which will be American Eagle Flight 4940 coming in from Killeen in Texas, a 29-minute journey. That'll be a CRJ 701ER, and that'll be followed up by a cargo flight, Polar Air. The daily flight from Cincinnati, that'll be a 767. Polar Air, DHL, you know the combo. So we're pointing to the east now. Yes, to the east, and that's where the sun will be rising not too long from this time. And again, it does look a little more colorful without this false color, so we'll get to that in a minute. You can, let's see, where is this flight? Oh, here it comes. So here's the flight from Killeen, the short hop from Killeen. Those are kind of interesting green tinged shot there. But again, that's what things really look like. We'll turn this off in a minute. Once it gets a little bit lighter, we'll go back to actual real color photography. But here comes the Polar Air DHL aircraft coming in. Again, this is a 767, which is 29 years old. It dates back to the year 1993. So let's see if we can keep this one in focus. Maybe if I go in real fast. Didn't seem to like that. The infrared does seem to brighten up the grass there. To me, in person, it looks very dark. And yes, the tail section of that plane is supposed to be yellow. There's the gleaming array of TV towers in the background there at Cedar Hill, Texas, to the south of us. So again, this is coming in from Cincinnati. And we see this plane often come in over on the east side of the airport because Cincinnati's to the east of us, but the flight controllers directed it over here this morning, so we got a little better view of it. Tim Heasley joining us, saying good morning everyone from western Pennsylvania near Pittsburgh. Welcome to you, Tim. Happy to have you here with us on Runway DFW on this Friday morning. I guess we can try to tell you about our plans for the next few days. I think it's going to work out that tomorrow we will be on for one of our mini marathons. Now I know it's nothing like the major airport streamers out there that go for 10 and 12 and 13 hours, but we should be on the air somewhere around 2:30 tomorrow. At least that's the plan, on Saturday, 2:30 Central Time, and go to the evening. So we'll get a chance to see the A380 and all the other and a lot of international flights that come in during the afternoon. And there you see the skyline of Dallas right behind the tower there. That's the East Tower of DFW Airport. You see a building that's kind of outlined in green, and that's the tallest building in the city of Dallas, the Bank of America Tower. Peter B. says, hello Walt and everyone, greetings from Adelaide, Australia. Hello to you, Peter. And it's the winter time down there, I guess. So, sometimes, we in the U.S. kind of, I'm exhibiting my my lack of knowledge meteorologically of Australia, and I'm guessing that during the winter months, which it is now, is it the winter or the fall? Anyway, but during the colder weather months, there are probably parts of Australia that are analogous to the U.S., where they have, where we have, parts of the U.S. That remain pretty warm in the winter time, and parts that get cold. So what am I doing here? I'm trying to set our main camera back to regular viewing here. Okay, night mode off. Alrighty. I think I've got it. So anyway, we're back to real color now. We're just kind of testing out that night mode that our primary camera has. And Peter B says winter officially finishes at the end of August here, so in Australia. So they're almost out of it. But I guess my question is, I guess if you go down to Tasmania, is it still kind of balmy there in the winter? I would imagine it would be, but again, I haven't done the research. We have, coming from one of the colder regions of the USA, American Airlines Flight 817. This will be an Airbus A321. A relatively new one, just a year old. About a year and a half old. This is coming in from Anchorage, Alaska. And we'll get a look at that for you here on a Friday morning edition of Runway DFW. Happy to have you with us. So that's a 5-hour and 46-minute flight aboard a narrow body aircraft. Oh, Peter B saying very cold in Tasmania in the winter, because I'm thinking upside, I'm not thinking its proximity to the pole. I guess it would be warmer in northern Australia. That makes sense, Walt. Okay. And yeah, there's some parts that get snow. Others up north stay very warm. So there you go, Walt. I've been schooled. We've got a viewer from Pecos, Texas, Nicholas Orozco. Thank you for joining us this morning, Nicholas. Happy to have you here with us. Bill Platt, who is an EMS in southern New Jersey and one of our new moderators, says, good morning, Walt. Just done a 12-hour shift on the road. Bill, if you feel you need to go to bed, I totally understand. I know what 12-hour shifts are like, but I just do TV news. Adding in the stress of being an EMT, so maybe if this gives you a little downtime, fine, but we all understand if you need to check out for a bit. But thank you so much for that. Connie's saying, looking like a nice day, and indeed it is. We've got that nice kind of cloud deck in the eastern sky to kind of refract the sun rays as day breaks here, and the sunrise is coming up in about 15 minutes officially. Random Stuff saying, new viewer here. Good morning to you, mate, from Queens QLD, which I'm guessing is Queensland. Is that right? Oh, I hope I got that right. And we are coming to you from DFW Founders Plaza, and there's Enrique Dunningham just subscribing to Runway DFW. Thank you, Enrique. There is the rotating beacon of DFW Founders Plaza, which is kind of the central focus point here. And you can see the flags on the right. It's just about dead calm here this morning. B saying, let's see if my RDU to DFW American Airlines flight 2605 lands on the west side. Hope so. Yeah, sometimes it's kind of, we never know where a plane is going to, or at least I don't know. And Random Stuff confirming that I did get that abbreviation right in Queensland, so at least I know something, a little something about Australia. And we are awaiting some additional activity here at the big airport. So we get to sit and chat for a bit. And again, for those of you who are just joining us, we do have a team of moderators now on board. And there are their names. They're the charter members of the Runway DFW Moderation Federation. So if you see them in the chat room, be very nice to them. They will be nice to you. They're just here to maintain order. And what do we have here? So anyway, thank you to all of you guys. I'm seeing a special livery American Airlines plane, which is going over to the hangar. Let's see if we can catch a glimpse of it before it gets in there. There you can see it, the America West livery. It is an American Airlines plane, but they paint a number of their planes in heritage livery. And this particular one is an Airbus A319 with the America West Heritage livery. We usually almost always see at least one every time we're here. The PSA livery is a favorite. And also American has at least 2 special liveries of its own former paint jobs. So we get a pretty good look at that in the pre-dawn light. Headed back to the hangar for routine maintenance, cleaning, whatever they do to planes when they complete their missions. And speaking of planes, how about our first queen of the day? UPS Flight 768 coming in from Louisville. that always brightens my day. Although, why is it turning that way? Generally, when a UPS plane lands over here on the west side, it makes a right-hand turn, comes up the apron to the UPS hub, which is just to the south of us. Well, perhaps there's some reason why it's taking an alternate route this morning. I was going to say this is a pretty new plane. This is 2 years old, from dating back to February of 2020. 747-8F. So I can't tell if it's coming back up on a taxiway between runways 18 right and left, or if it's coming back to us on runway 18 left, which is generally the taking off runway. Here comes a minibus. That American Airlines A319 was coming in from Wichita, Kansas. Flight 2862. We didn't get a chance to play this as it came in. I didn't want to interrupt the engine noise, but here it is, our first queen of the day. So this is a view of the 747 we don't ordinarily get, at least not this from this angle. Get a size differential. There's the central tower behind it. There goes an ambulance, and some other emergency vehicle will be appearing in your picture shortly in the foreground. So anyway, the final destination of this giant aircraft is the UPS cargo hub, which is just to the south of us here. And so while that's coming in there, we see a plane coming in on, arriving on runway 18 left, which is usually the takeoff strip. So they've kind of switched things up a little bit for us today. We see that occasionally. Our next arrival is going to be another UPS cargo plane. This is going to be a 757 arriving from Houston Intercontinental Airport. Be coming in about 180 degrees from where we are looking right now. But I think we have time to follow this into its parking space as best we can, because we do get a little interference here from the accoutrement at Founders Plaza. Yeah, the ideal spot would be to set up right where we can see, right at the corner there, where we can see those big planes pull in, but I found that the closer we are to that corner of the airport, the more susceptible we are to radar interference, little blips on our screen at regular intervals which disturb the picture. So where we are now seems to be somewhat more immune from that. I believe this, my screen is a little crowded now. I think this flight's going out to Los Angeles. But we're gonna pull off of that because we got the 757 coming in. Now, I didn't think we had any 767 passenger planes here at DFW, but I was proven wrong this morning when I spotted that Delta plane down there near International Terminal D. I'm pretty sure we don't have any 757 passenger aircraft coming in or out of DFW, at least on a scheduled basis. So this is really the only 757 we see. Or at least that I see. So again, this one came in from Chicago O'Hare. Was that right? Is that right? Or did I? No, sorry, that was from Houston. Getting all discombobulated here. That plane is 30 years old, dating back to the year, well, I'll let our singers tell you that. What do we have these singers here? Double check.
$19.91.
The sun has officially risen here in North Texas, but we do not have a sunrise. We can't see the sun yet because of the cloud bank in front of it. We're about to have a battle of the cargo jets here. We have the 757 coming at us from Houston, and the one on the left there has come in from Chicago RFD Airport. I can't remember what the name of that airport is. So 747, I mean a 757 and a 767, doing a little aviation ballet there. And we saw a 747, so we've seen those three. Good looking aircraft. Pulling into its bay down at the far end. And its big brother or sister is getting ready to make the turn. We are just now beginning to see our friend the sun kind of wink at us. And you can hear the whine of the 767 jets there in the background. B saying RFD is Redfield. Why can I never remember that? Brian, aka Ski, good morning, Walt, and the rest of the chat. Looks like your recruitment to the Federation was successful. You have some first-class moderators there. We certainly do. Thank you, Brian. Thank you for acknowledging them as we acknowledge the arrival of this 777. So we're getting a look at all the Boeing jets this morning. Haven't seen a Dreamliner yet. I think that will be in the cards, however. That particular aircraft coming in from Honolulu. American Flight 102. Ending a 6-hour and 54-minute journey made by this turn-of-the-century plane, which was built in the year 2000. Damaris Valdez Beltre is a new subscriber to our little shindig here. Thank you, Damaris, if I pronounced that right. Stephanie Hutchison saying good morning, Runway DFW, and all my fellow early morning plane spotters, or I guess depending on where you are on the globe. Could be afternoon, could be evening. You never know. Our friend El Chilcote saying good morning from Wilmington. Happy to have you here with us, streaming along. Makati City Rails Aviation says a lot of Atlas Air 747 freighters fly over my area, mostly 747-400Fs. And M.R. Rice with some memories of the Queen. My first time on a 747 was on a Northwest Airlines back in 1984, Dallas to San Francisco. Touchdown. I always wonder when you see a plane hovering over the runway like that for what seems like an extended period of time. I'm not a pilot, so I don't know. If there's like a question about, well, should we touch down or not, or should we go around, or, well, let's just land. Or maybe it's all like just a computer guided system which decides, well, let's wait a little longer before we plop down the tires. And if you're a regular viewer of ours, you will know that to the left of that radar tower is a big American flag, which is usually visible. I mean, it's a very big flag, and I guess it would take a little bit of wind to make it fly around, and right now it's just kind of drooping, it's just hanging there. As we're about to see an east side arrival here. The plane's coming in from Miami. And again, for those of you who are new to the channel, we can't see, well, we've got planes and trains and cars there. That was a Dallas area rapid transit train you saw in the foreground. It goes from here to downtown Dallas. It can get you pretty much anywhere in the DFW area. And there's an analogous train now that will take you to Fort Worth on a separate line. Looks like we've got some runway inspection going on here on the west side. Those little yellow pickup trucks go up and down and look for any issues. But in the meantime, we've got is this right? I think so. My flight radar seems a little off today, but this is, I think, well, I know it's an Embraer 175. It's coming in from Corpus Christi in Texas. And it's American Eagle Flight 3411. Let's go back and take another look at that Delta 767, which I don't know. I've been here at this time of day. I've never seen it here before. So I don't know if this is a regular flight or a special flight or what. It's parked in a holding area right now to the south of the Terminal D, the international terminal. So I don't know if we'll get to see it take off. We are greeted by Josh Aldrich. Good morning to you, Josh. Thanks for tuning in. Korean Air 5431. Wow, lots of planes landing today. Well, that's what we like to see. And Korean Air 5431 also asking about an MD-11. Yeah, we get MD-11s here. Both from UPS and FedEx. We don't see too many of the FedEx planes because they generally land and take off on the east side. And so we should see at least one tri-jet either coming in or going out or both before we take our leave today. And I should probably tell you that we were just looking at American Eagle Flight 3138 coming in from Laredo, Texas after a little more than an hour-long flight on that CRJ 701ER. And here's a look at our clouds this morning, which are kind of obscuring the sunrise, but that's kind of okay because there's less glare for our pictures. Coming in from Waco, Texas, excuse me. That was American Eagle Flight 3512, an ERJ 145LR, which they were only flying for 28 minutes. Here's our look from camera 2. You see the east tower of DFW and the hazy skyline of Dallas in the background. Our next arrival, coming in from Omaha, Nebraska, in the U.S. If that sounded like a lawnmower and not a jet aircraft, it's because we've got some maintenance people here at the DFW Founders Plaza. Our next arrival is coming in from the capital of Texas, Austin. It's an Airbus A321. It's American Airlines flight 1595. And here's the point in the broadcast where people who are new to Runway DFW saying, are there any other airlines that fly into DFW Airport other than American and American Eagle? Come on. And yes, there are, and we will see them before we go. Be patient. OZ Gaming 9. Hey, Walt, just woke up for school. OZ Gaming 9 has a live streaming channel here at DFW Airport. So we welcome you. Don't be late for school, though. Very important. I mean, what do you think? A 14-year-old doing a streaming channel, that's pretty cool. Here is a minibus. That was my screen is so crowded today. And I think I was wrong about that. That was an Embraer 175, wasn't it? Roar of jet engines, we get the growl of lawn maintenance equipment. Yeah, Tim, I was wrong about that, and I apologize. John Opbill says, for new viewers, they may not know what is a minibus. Well, I was kind of corrected. I always thought that an A319, an Airbus A319 was called a baby bus. But I was told by one of our European viewers that a baby bus was actually the A318, and the A319, which was a little bigger, was called a minibus. So that's where I get that from. But I've heard a lot of people still call the A319 a minibus. I mean a baby bus. A lot of cargo action for us this morning as we see this A300 UPS jet arriving from Denver. Dates back to the year 2002, 20-year-old aircraft. And it looks like it too will be coming up the central, either the central taxiway or runway 18 left. I don't know if there's some problem with the, well, I've seen other planes come up this, I don't know, I have no idea what's going on with that. But it's going to make a U-turn and then come back towards us. Such interesting clouds this morning. It's kind of got the wide angle view there, but I wish I could give you an even wider view because it's just so fascinating to see. Here comes an American Airlines 737-800. Arriving from Albuquerque, New Mexico. Vols on Rocky Top says, great view of incoming planes and landing rollout. One of the best of all spotters. Where? I don't see any. Oh, me? Thank you, Vols on Rocky Top. That's very nice of you to say. Well, Chris B757 is saying, is that a Delta 763 or 764 at Terminal F? You don't see those at DFW every day. And you know, that's what I thought. Let's pan back over to that. And let me see if I can do a little research and figure out what that might be. I show the aircraft on the ground. I was scrolling through the list of aircraft on the ground here. And I'm not good enough at aircraft identification yet to be able to tell at a glance what that is, and we're a little too far away to see the N number. So this landed 12 hours ago, a 767-432ER, Delta flight 8868, and it apparently came in from Seattle. No, 26th. That's odd. Scheduled departure. Oh, I think it was supposed to leave last night at 11:55. And, well, I'm not sure. I'm going to get you a 777 here. You don't want to miss that. That was coming in from Buenos Aires. 10-hour and 16-minute flight from the southern hemisphere. And another aircraft dating back to the turn of the century. Born in April of 2000. And now finally, this A300 has made its way back up here. We've got jet engine noise competing with lawnmower activity. I've got like 360-degree sounds coming into my ears right now. But if you have to do lawn maintenance, this is a pretty good time to do it. It's 77 degrees Fahrenheit. There's no direct sun. Yeah, if I had to mow my lawn, this would be a good time to do it. Haven't had to mow it recently because of two things: drought and horses. Rain and Troy have been keeping it very well manicured. And there you see the tail of one of the MD-11s that are currently parked here. At least one of them is going out this morning while we're here, I believe. And there's another tri-jet which is parked in a place where we can't see it right now. But it too may be going out, so we'll check on that. As the golden glow lights up the sky, we've got a Spirit Airlines flight going out to Las Vegas. Going to be an A320. There it is. Yellow bird. A yellow bird with a future that is in question as far as, well, we know what's going to happen to it. It's going to be absorbed by JetBlue if, you know, I've got a You know what? I've got to just kind of pull off there for a second because I've got this just incredible shot of heavenly goodness there. Bill Caldham says, I've enjoyed the stream. Well, time for me to go feed deer. Go do that, Bill. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, the sereneness of the sunrises kind of taken away by the roar of lawnmowers, but I guess I could have potted down the lawnmowers, you know, turned off the sound and just had the music playing. But now what are you gonna do? Just nice to have a little contemplative view as the sun emerges and we get the day going here at Runway DFW. See what happens if I turn off the microphones. See what the difference is. So there you are, a little serenity for just a second or two as we see an aircraft flying through. Reginald Thompson, we're talking about the Spirit Airlines plane. We almost saw it take off, but we kind of diverted for the sunrise. It says, I hope they leave a few Spirit planes in their original livery. And I don't know, that's a good question to pose to you all there. Would you like to see that? I mean, it certainly is a distinctive livery, but Spirit, I don't know, kind of has a... It's kind of, well, I don't want to say what I'm thinking, but I think the stronger brand between Spirit and JetBlue would be JetBlue. And folks, you're not missing anything right now. They've got runway inspections going on over here on this side of the airport. I don't see any planes taking off or landing right now. So we can just enjoy this little view. You see, widen it out a little bit. And that's the big picture, although it doesn't really begin to express the majesty of actually seeing it in person. If you're here in North Texas, step outside and look at this. It's pretty cool right now. It's like stopped down everything. OZ Gaming 9 says Walter actually caught the departure of the Virgin Atlantic 787-9 at DFW on Monday, which was in town here because of storms in Austin. And yeah, I did see that. I was watching your stream at that time, or trying to as I was working. But yeah, that was pretty cool to see. It's one of those things when you're a plane spotter, you never, you know, you kind of live for those moments when you can see aircraft or airlines that you don't expect to see. And since we got a little time to kill, I would like to go back again to thank the Runway DFW Moderation Federation. There you see the names of all those who have volunteered for duty, and you'll be seeing them in the chat room, and you'll be seeing the little wrench next to their names, and you will be nice to them and they will be nice to you, and we're going to have the nicest chat room in aviation history here, I hope, thanks to these folks. So thank you again to all of you for stepping up to hang out with us and keep an eye on things and swat down those chat bots. I truly appreciate it. It's one of those Boeing times on the clock. It's 7:37 right now. And yeah, it's like everything is stopped here. I don't know why. And we say farewell to OZ Gaming 9, who's going to school. And as I said, he's a 14-year-old lad who does a streaming channel from here at DFW Airport. So attend to your studies, OZ Gaming 9. We're getting information that British Airways Flight 193, the daily A380 flight to Dallas from London Heathrow, has lit up on the radar across the pond, so it will be heading over here soon, if everything is on time over there. We are not able to show you right now a plane which is landing over on runway 13 right, which we cannot see from here. It's the daily flight from, or one of the daily flights from Maui in Hawaii. It's landing over on one of the crosswind runways. Say that 5 times fast. As we do what they call in the business fill. Not as in Philip, but as in filling time. And when you have a live broadcast, you just got to fill time when there's nothing happening. So we had a nice sunrise for you. We had some ancillary lawn mowing activity. I don't know if we can see it through here. Let's see if we can. I think we can. If we poke through all of these utility poles and other things, we can see the cargo hold of the UPS 747 being loaded and unloaded. Well, we'll see in a moment if it's loading or unloading. I would guess they're still unloading that plane, which we saw come in a little while ago. Kenji saying we could be watching the guy cut grass. We caught a little glimpse of it. I think we know what's going on there. You can probably look out the window and see people cutting grass, so we'll try to focus on the aircraft here as best we can. So you get to, here's just kind of a chance to see all the activity that goes on along with, you see all these people in orange or in fluorescent vests scurrying about with all sorts of activities. On the right side of the plane you can see some boxes going down a ramp or a conveyor belt, and on the left side you see the big lift with containers. Joshua LeClaire is hanging out with us. Good morning, Walt. Happy Friday. Good morning to you, Joshua. Howard R. LNN 2290. Good morning, Texas from Kentucky. Morning to you in Kentucky. A state here in the United States, for those of you who are unfamiliar with our geography. Did I put this one up already? Tim Wells saying 737 is my favorite plane, mostly the new generations. You know, we did admit what we're, you know, I'm chatting with you guys, and something happened while we were watching that plane. Just scoot over here a little bit. Then MD-11 has pushed back from the gate. This will be off to Louisville. It's a relatively new plane. It's from this century. It's 21 years old, dating back to January of 2001 in MD-11F. So we don't have a jingle for that one. I'm still a little curious about the that Delta 767. If anybody knows what's going on with that, is that a one-off? Is that a regular flight, or is it a new flight? I'm just not familiar enough to know. Somebody in our audience may have the info. So quickly look over here to this A319 arriving, which I didn't see on the radar. And the delta I was talking about a minute ago, we'll just take a quick look at it again over here. You know, it's very distinctive among all these American Airlines painted planes, and we just don't see a delta plane that big here. We see a lot of their smaller aircraft, and so the question is, what's this doing here? Was it diverted? Was it a one-off flight? Are they just moving it around? Or is it a new addition to the regular scene here? Because I'm here, you know, not every day a week, but I've been here most days a week, and I've just never seen that aircraft here. So help me out if you have any information. And Michael Heller is saying Seattle Seahawks charter for the Delta 767. Okay. Well, that makes some sense. Thank you, Michael. And new moderator A-list flyer Chris saying one of those planes is not like the others. Yeah. Yeah, it struck me this morning when I looked over there and I saw, wait a minute, that's a pretty big Delta plane, and we don't see that here. But one thing we do see here, and it's, you know, it's nice to be able to show this to you, because as I was saying on a previous broadcast, you know, 5 years from now, you probably won't be seeing this plane, or maybe even 3 years. At least not domestically here in the U.S. So since we haven't been seeing anything taking off from this side of the airport, you know, I don't know, it seems like 45 minutes, I don't know. Will it take off from this side of the airport? We'll find out soon on Runway DFW. They're getting closer. And Douglas Serrano saying there's an NFL preseason game today, Cowboys versus Seahawks. So that may well explain that aircraft. Even though I live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, I'm almost entirely unaware of sports. If somebody had asked me, when is the first Dallas Cowboys, and we're talking about American football here, when is the first Dallas Cowboys preseason game? And I would have to say, I don't know. So we're hoping that this plane will be making a right-hand turn to take off on runway 18 left, but I don't know, its current propulsion indicates that it is being dispatched over to the east side of DFW Airport. So that may be all we see of that. We'll try to, as we sometimes do, we will try to catch it as it lifts off from behind the structures over there. Put a tracker on it. Oh my goodness, it's loud. There goes that distinctive tail out of sight. Adam Weigler is asking, Founders Plaza? Yes, Founders Plaza, and there it is. Here's the beacon, which has not shut off yet. The flags, which are almost at dead still. And here comes a plane. Yay, a plane. That was American Eagle Flight 3033 coming in from Midland in West Texas. A 52-minute flight. And we have, for your consideration now, a United Airlines A319. This one's off to San Francisco on Runway DFW. A 16-year-old aircraft in the older of the two current United liveries, where it just says United on the side instead of United. So finally, some action for you here at the world's second busiest airport. You would have never known it by the last 30 or 45 minutes, but hey. We're still seeing the sunbeams streaming down from the heavens. And we are about to see the arrival of yet another UPS heavy cargo jet. This one's going to be Flight 2879 coming in from the state capital of Austin. Will be a Boeing 767. See if we can draw a bead on it.
A blast from the past, 1998.
Let's see if this one makes a left turn. As it makes its way back up here. Because well, it seemed to indicate there's a there might be some problem with the taxiway over on this side. Well, no, it's turning right. And while we're on the topic of UPS, the flight that we saw earlier, the MD-11, is about ready to take off over on the east side of the airport from runway 17 right. So what we're going to do is aim our camera over here. They're fun to watch to take off because they go kind of straight up in the air. And I don't see it rolling quite yet. We should see it somewhere in this vicinity, coming up from behind those buildings. So now it is rolling, at least according to Flight Radar 24. So let's see if we can catch this MD-11 blasting off into the morning sky here on runway DFW. Goodness. I miscalculated that. Look how it's like going at a 45-degree angle. So I will have to make a mental note to keep my camera a little bit over more to the left when this happens again. I should tell you what we just saw. That was American Airlines Flight 1924 coming in from Querétaro in Mexico in A319. And here comes the 767, which we just saw. Why does it have a gray nose? Do the other UPS planes have a gray nose? I've never noticed that before. That's what airline, give credit where credit is due, but that's what Airline Videos Live would call boop the snoot. fact, I think they have some merchandise which you can purchase, which will have that slogan on it. So we would be remiss if we didn't acknowledge Frontier Airlines here, which is going out. Let's head out to Las Vegas, this A320. And that looks like a woodpecker on the tail. I can't remember the name of it. I know it's not Woody. And we'll go back to our friendly looking 767, which is on final approach now to the UPS cargo facility here at DFW, Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport. Well, it's just after 8 a.m. Let's re-identify ourselves, shall we?
Live from Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport in Texas, this is Runway DFW, in color.
It's Friday, August 26th, 2022. That seems like August 26th. How can it be that far in the year so far? I mean, it seems like it was just New Year's. So anyway, my name is Walt. We're here at live from DFW Founders Plaza at DFW International Airport. And I'm pretty sure that they must have replaced the nose cone on that plane and just, it wasn't painted or something. Right? Okay, we need a new nose cone. You have any white ones? No, we got this gray one. Okay, slap it on. We'll paint it later. Got some packages to deliver. Some people have suggested that we should get UPS to sponsor us because we show so many of their aircraft. But what am I going to do? Not show them if they don't sponsor our broadcast? Still a bit hazy as we look at the Dallas skyline there. El Sol has risen in the sky, but it's kind of nice that it's not full sun on us this morning. Because from this vantage point in the morning, it's often a bit glary, to say the least. We get a lot of planes in silhouette, and we get a host who can't see things very clearly, so it's helpful to see, to have the sun kind of shaded by those clouds, but not total cloudiness. Yeah, Dwayne, we've had pretty good luck with our technology in recent outings here. The stream has been stable. And Douglas is pointing out there goes another United. And you should be seeing that on your screen momentarily. This with the newer livery. There it is, an A319 as an American 787 heads off on a journey to Los Angeles. And we're also seeing the morning flight to Tokyo from Japan Airlines, which we'll capture for you in a minute. This is American Flight 2D. It fell off my screen there, so I can't tell you what flight number it is, but it's going to Los Angeles. There is Japan Airlines Flight 6713 off to Narita Airport in Tokyo. And here is United Airlines Flight 1182 on its way to Denver. And this will be an A319, a minibus or a baby bus, whatever you would prefer to call it. Karen Monson says, "Hi everyone, we have full sun in Minnesota, but it's been overcast much of the week." Enjoy the sun then. Looks like, well, who's going first? The Dreamliner or the baby bus, minibus? I'm going to say it looks like the JAL flight is going to go first, but I could be wrong. Oh, and look at this. Don't blink, but we have what? Another Japan Airlines flight coming from Narita? Am I seeing double? Yes, if I were a disc jockey, it would be a JAL twin spin, a double play. So within a minute or two of one another, This one is going out. I think you could kind of hear the roar of those engines even over the ever-present lawn mowers here at Founders Plaza. And as you would expect for a flight making a trans-Pacific journey, it's pretty heavily laden with fuel and passengers and cargo, so it used up a lot of the runway. Morning is going by quickly. We only have about 45 minutes left in our broadcast. Let's take it back to this United minibus. This one's going to Denver. Painted in the fresh new livery, but it does date back to 1999. Could you say that again, singers? 1999. That's what I thought you said. So it's a 20th century aircraft, but they've freshened it up. As we wait for that to take off, we've got a plane coming in from Guadalajara, an American Airlines jet. Guadalajara in Mexico. 737-800. It has landed safely. Let us see if we can get this United plane going. Off you go to that mile-high city. As the Japan Airlines flight arriving from Narita finds its place over at International Terminal B. coming in from Silao in Mexico. Another A319, American Flight 1017. Get a look at both these of that Delta Airlines charter for the Seattle Seahawks, that 767, with the Japan Airlines Dreamliner pulling in front. We'd like to acknowledge the $5 super chat from Ray Anderson, who says, I need coffee, Walt needs coffee. Great show as always. Thank you, Ray. Much appreciated. And Emre, I think the Japan Airlines plane we saw taking off was also going to Narita, although we do get Haneda flights in here as well. So sorry I couldn't want to make sure that I was trying to keep up with all you guys, and just take a little breather here for a second. We had like a lull and then kind of non-stop action for a while. Such a nice day compared to the last time. If you saw our last broadcast, it was a little discombobulated because we were dealing with rain falling on our broadcast and trying to keep the water off of our equipment was kind of interfering with our programming efforts. And what you're looking over there at is an arrival on the east side of DFW Airport. That was I can't tell you what that was. My radar is not quite keeping up with things here. I think I have to put a filter on for planes that are going less than 10 miles an hour. That kind of clears up the screen here. So I think this plane, this is also coming in on the east side, coming in from New Orleans. It's an Airbus A321, American Flight 1768. Passing by the radar tower, and these planes coming in far away from us, which is why they look so far away. And once again, it's quiet, and but it will be picking up here as we approach the 9 o'clock hour, which is when we got to pack up and leave. There is our sky. Very happy to bring you these spectacular shots of the morning Texas sky. We would like to also acknowledge a super chat from Deborah Klein, our friend Deborah Klein, $10. Great stream, Walt. Thank you, Deborah. Mucho apreciado. That will go to our camera fund to help us get a nice fancy camera to see in the dark. Over on the east side again, we've got another American Airlines flight coming in from, I believe this is from Charlotte. And then over on this side of the old airport, from Chihuahua, oh, we've got the very nice, well, let's take a look here, see if we can see it. Yes, it's the American Airlines Heritage PSA livery. We always like to see that. A little tough to see the smiley face as it was heading in because of the backlighting, but hope you got to see it. Get a little better view of it as it makes the turn here. That is a fun livery. If you're just joining us, we are live at DFW International Airport. This is Runway DFW, the YouTube channel which specializes in stuff from DFW Airport. Like this American Eagle? Yeah. American Eagle Embraer 175 coming in from Chattanooga, Tennessee. And just to prove we're not totally American Airlines centric, it's Delta. Another A319, this one headed to Salt Lake City, flight 2444. As you see behind it, an American Airlines aircraft coming over the bridge, which planes can travel between the east and west sides of the airport. I'll have to resurrect my old airport runways map. I had it when I was using a previous software, and I haven't added it into this current software I'm using yet so far. But sometimes it helps to kind of illustrate to those who are unfamiliar with the airport, you know, where all the runways are and how they're aligned. What we're looking at here well, what happened there? I think we had a one of those episodes where a decision was taken to not land, and then here we go. We've got a go round here. You can see the landing gear still down. I heard this roaring over my head. So we have two things happening at once. We've got a go round, and we've got a plane that decided not to take off. The plane that decided not to take off was, I believe, American Flight 809, an A319 that was off, that's coming in from San Luis Potosi in Mexico. You see if I can find this Delta plane. Here's the Delta plane we saw starting to roll. You could hear the engines accelerate, but then they got switched off. I didn't see anything that looked like, you know, the engines were amiss or anything, like, you know, something. And obviously it's still operating under its own power. But the question is, will it circle back around to the takeoff position, or does it have to go back to the terminal for a look-see? So, I've seen go-rounds, and I've seen cases where planes begin to roll down the runway and then don't. So that was curious. And you may have seen in the picture earlier this Dreamliner. It's American Airlines Dreamliner. It's flight 2720. It's off to Phoenix, Arizona. So and I wish to acknowledge a $20 super chat from Brandon McMillan, who says, adding to the camera fund. Another great show, Walt. Thank you, Brandon. That means a lot. There you see it getting busy right now, right before 9 o'clock. Or, well, it's 8:30, so we've got a half hour, but this half hour is generally a busy one. There's the big Dreamliner. I've lost track of the Delta plane. Yeah, it's kind of lining up. Well, okay, the Dreamliner's making a weird turn, like it was going to take off, but it got waved off. There's the Delta A319, which was to have taken off, which looks like it's going to have another go. That would be a little confusing for a passenger, although I'm sure the flight deck advised the passengers about what was happening. Okay. Really doesn't look like it's approaching takeoff speed, and now it's turning around again. I need to crank up the ATC a little bit. It was on, but kind of in the background. Okay, so there's the Delta plane. It's coming back this way. We've got the Dreamliner going out to Phoenix. Got an A321 just departing for Tucson on runway 18 left. There's the Delta plane, which is now, looks like it's lining up for its third attempt at takeoff. As the sun has now achieved full brightness here.
American 2720, we'll see you. Ground 65, good day.
That American A321 is coming in from, wait, check that. I've lost track. You might have seen this plane in the mix. This is not appearing on my radar. Looks like the Dreamliner to Phoenix is next up for departure.
2114, you take care. American 956, good day. Runway 178, line up and wait. Wait, 18 left, American 2029.
So that plane was coming in from Des Moines, the one that just landed. Our Delta flight is still kind of in limbo over there. The UPS plane, the 12-year-old 767, is off to parts unknown according to our radar. We don't have a description on where that's going. There's an American A319, which looks like it's lined up for next takeoff.
monitor ground flight 65.
And that plane's going to Pensacola, Florida.
2759, RF to check, somewhere 178, close takeoff. 489, DFW Tower, runway 17 right, line of right. Point 17 right, American 489. 4986, contact departure.
That's 4986. Parker ready to take off, American 2020 minutes.
Trying to keep up with all these planes landing and taking off. That one was coming in from Mexico City, the 737 you just saw. Here goes the A319, which we had been looking at. That's off to Montrose, which I believe is in Colorado. So we are once again inundated with, well, now it's blowers. Because you gotta get the grass cuttings off the concrete. The plane taking off was, you know, I can't tell you what that one was. Here's our Delta plane, which is still at large. Jardez Trains just subscribed. Thank you, Jardez. I hope I pronounced your name right, but I think I probably didn't. Breaker checks in, says, just came from your computer corner page. Many good tech memories. Yeah, if you're interested in old technology, you can check out my computer corner page. It's linked in the description of this broadcast, I believe. Karen Monson says, I wouldn't want to be a passenger on that Delta. 3 times to wait before taking off. Hey, you would think third time's the charm. What happens on the 4th time? I'm sure everything is under control. You just run into a little bit of bad luck there, I think. So now peeking out from behind the UPS plane, this looks like American Flight 2593 off to Minneapolis, St. Paul. I could be mistaken. lot of runway to lift off. Oh, peace and quiet. Oh, spoke too soon. It looks like it's the turn of this big 767 to take off.
Contact ground on the other side, American 8,
Meanwhile, this Delta plane just not getting any of the brakes. And oh my goodness, we have another super chat. This one from Brian, aka Ski. Walt, you brave the elements of DFW, Texas. You have my respect. Welcome to new moderators. I'm sure Charlene Dawkins is really excited to have you on board, and I know that she is. So yes, a big thank you to all of our Moderation Federation who is hanging out with us this morning and helping you enjoy this broadcast. And I want them to know that I am equally thankful for your participation. Feels like a real channel now. We got moderators and stuff. That appears to have been American Airlines Flight 2487 coming in from Kansas City. American Airlines Flight 1245 on its way to Eagle, Colorado, an A319. Sorry, Delta. Yes, what must those passengers on the Delta flight be thinking right now? It's our turn. And there you saw in the back, if you've just tuned in recently, you just saw in the background there a big Delta 767, which is not a normal sight here at DFW Airport. And we were informed that this is the team plane of the Seattle Seahawks in town for a preseason contest against the invincible Dallas Cowboys. But I kid. Well, since we last checked in with our Delta pals, They have actually moved. Although they've fallen off the radar.
American 850 DFW Tower, runway 17 right, line up and wait.
So they've reoriented themselves, or at least the, I don't know, maybe the passengers can get a better look at the other planes taking off. Don't have any planes coming in on this side right now. I see one kind of far off in the sky. They'll be coming in from El Paso. We're supposed to be getting the Emirates daily flight coming in just before we leave, or right about as we leave. I hope to bring you that, but I don't know if I'll be able to stay. It was supposed to be a little bit early. It's supposed to come in right at 9 o'clock or just before 9 o'clock. Seeing if it's out there on the radar, but I don't see it.
High-speed Echo Sierra, monitor ground 65, good.
So as Delta waits, we've got a couple of little cargo planes there. One of them is a Super Cargo Master.
857 on up the spur, runway 17 right, clear for takeoff.
Park 1A left, clear for takeoff, making 2550. 1695, final 1 right. He's on the visual 17 left. Airshow 5850, DFW 17 left, middle left. Liquid land 17 left, show 5850. Yeah, the 18 right, American 1695.
Contact person.
That, I believe, is the flight that came in from El Paso. This one's going out to, where to go? There it is. Headed off to Calgary in Canada. Our Canadian friends, where all comedy comes from.
1169 Echo Sierra, monitor ground 65 today. Left line up, Delta 2440. Envoy 3037, DFW 17 left, clear to left. 17 left, clear to land, envoy 3037.
Ooh, Delta's moving. Delta is on the move for takeoff attempt number 4. It is turning. Will it be burning? Fingers crossed. Our Delta friends. This will now be their 4th attempt at a takeoff. And again, this is flight 2444 on its way to Salt Lake City.
American 2387. Traffic 12 o'clock 2 miles, a helicopter eastbound 800 feet. 2387, contact person. 17 taxi to DMI, code for event 0, monitor ground point 65. DFW Tower, runway 17, clear to land 10-204. Tower 4993, contact partner.
Success. Good to see that.
Copy 2650, contact tower 127.5.
Got a few minutes left to go.
5850 Echo Sierra, monitor ground 65. Have a good day.
Alright, line of away.
17 right, line of away, 2850.
American 2815, RNW2, that's runway 17, close to takeoff.
Airport 17 right, take off American 2815. 18 left, line of away, caution wake 666. Double wait American
1617, go ahead and take the full length and let me know when you're ready.
Delta main 95 Delta Alpha, turning inside Laura, 13 right.
Contact Dallas Love Tower now 126.05.
13 right, clear to land, 895 Delta Alpha. Operating left, Martex 666.
Alright, so takeoff.
INS Sparrow, runway 17 right, everything up, American 1892. Minus 644. American 744, 1 right. American 744.
As you can see, things are happening fast and furious here. Faster than my mouth can move. That was American Airlines Flight 2792 on its way to San Antonio, I think I was wrong about that, but I think this will be our final plane of the day. Yes?
Yeah, I'm American 2743. 2743, we're delayed a little bit for maintenance here. Should be more than 5-10 more minutes. Maintenance is just taking care of it. Welcome to plane now. 3000
It is Korean Air Cargo Flight 256, a Boeing 747, off to Anchorage on its way back to the Far East. It's a 16-year-old 747-4B5F, and it is our second and last Queen of the Day on Runway DFW. So this is a good way to end it, I think. And you know, we're going to get a little bonus here because we're going to get a 777 coming in momentarily from Honolulu, American Flight 115. So we have a rich ending to our show for you this morning. We're going to catch this 777 coming in. I think this may be the last flight of a pilot, because there's somebody here in front of us who's capturing this. So maybe we'll do it too. I'm going to ask this gentleman next to me if that was a special flight. Go back over to this 777 just for a second. Because I think this is a flight that has special significance for one of the flight crew. Again, this is a 777 coming in from Honolulu. So we'll just capture a little bit more of that. Are they going to get a water cannon?
I don't know. He's a first officer. But he's got 30 years.
Wow.
1403G-Bush, 17 left.
They charge for the water cannon now?
17 left, American 1403.
Yeah.
Said like $500.
Well, that'd be kind of worth it. Well, here goes the our parting gift to you today, the Korean Air Cargo 747.
Contact departure 125.2.
1567 with you on the visual 177.
1567 D3 Tower, runway 17 clear to land.
Clear to land 177, American 1567. In Booking D left over 171.
3615 D3 Tower, 17 left, clear to land.
Clear to land 17 left, 3615. Monograph 65, have a good day.
722, I-92 Sierra, runway 179, clear for takeoff.
Well, we had the full range of Boeing aircraft for you this morning. Or at least the current range. 737, 747, 757, 767, 777, and the 787 Dreamliner. And we'll just get one more peek at this 777 that came in from Honolulu with the first officer who is retiring after 30 years, I am told. So congratulations to you. Sounds like an outstanding career.
Left B Park, American 1453.
And I was asking the gentleman who was filming this on his iPhone whether they were going to get a water cannon salute, which sometimes happens for you know, senior personnel who are retiring, or special aircraft that are arriving or being retired. And so I thought, I can't tell really. It's about to go out of our sight, so with that we will have to leave it. So at 9:03, yikes, it's getting late, we are going to do this. We are going to say fare thee well to you all after this broadcast. Thank you again to everybody who tuned in and who's watching, and special thanks to the Runway DFW Moderation Federation, who helped keep things aligned for all of you here in the chat room. Thank you all. We will see you again, I think, tomorrow afternoon. Keep your ring that bell, that notification bell, and that will let you know what we're up to here at Runway DFW. So thank you again, and we will see you all soon on Runway DFW. Happy contrails to you until we meet again.
Stay tuned for Gomer Pyle next on most of these CBS stations.
We hope you liked it, too late to change it now.